Okay. Blaming yourself for your thoughts and emotions that you feel is one of the probably hardest things that you can deal with, because it's one of the things that the self creates and is unaware of. So these emotions and thoughts that you feel a lot of times are fields of awareness that you're tapping into, and these fields of awareness, they interact with each other, um, dependent on the direction of the attention inside of that field of awareness. So if your attention is based, and then also another thing is that attention is like a vibratory level. It's more of like, it's like the direction of the energy flows when you move with it. And like, so like when you change your attention, you're actually like shifting the energy flow to something else. But so these fields of awareness are all interacting with each other. And when you start to get around a lot of people who are very empathic will start to feel the energy fields that are around everywhere. And that's just like kind of like the lowest part of like the whole of all the feelings that are involved, because the more that you start to look and start to feel into other people's feelings, the more that you will start to notice where your attention is moving, and you'll start to notice feelings that are coming from things that are around you, or just the fields of consciousness that are around you. And a lot like it's funny because sometimes these fields of awareness can also be housed, like they can house other dimensional entities as well, and they can kind of shift the fields of awareness a little bit. But like what they do is they direct your attention, and they like basically like latch into your lower subconscious mind thought patterns and then play on those. And that's why it's important to be very mindful of your mind and but it's also like, there's people like Eckhart Tolle who talk about mindfulness, where they say that it's not good to say mindfulness because it's implying that your mind is full. But at the same time, mindfulness is probably the closest term that I've heard widely that could basically explain what it feels like to watch your thoughts from a disidentified source. And it's very weird because it's like looking at yourself from behind yourself, but yet you're in your body, but it's like you're not a part of your body anymore, like you're not identified with your body. And that's a very hard thing to describe, because it's something that's only experienced rather than spoken of. And but that conscious field of awareness that you're tapping into when you feel other people's vibes, and like if you there's also things where like if you carry a low vibration, then you can actually manufacture those living entities of thoughts in yourself, and then start to radiate that out into the world, and then those thought patterns will start to kind of creep around and grow. And but basically the point to all of this, like you have to basically become mindful of your thoughts and the emotions that you're feeling, and you have to go and trace those thoughts and feelings and figure out why you would be telling yourself these things. Because basically, hold on. I can feel my body, and my chest area was vibrating a lot, and I think that my mind was interpreting that as anxiety. um, this is just me explaining one of the ways that you can start to disidentify from your body, or like the feelings that are moving through you. So like as soon as I identified that out loud, it made me feel a lot better. And secondly, I just was able to take a breath and then notice the fact that my chest was vibrating, and I can feel it already a little bit when I talk about it. Is like this like slight vibration in my voice and in my chest, and I think that comes from a maybe past experience with public speaking and stuff like that. But I don't know. It probably comes from a few different things like of my past. But the whole point is that those feelings in the body do not have to be something that you identify with. So like when you feel that, and you feel these feelings of like anxiety or and then so okay, so anxiety is in the body. So like when you feel anxiety, most of the, like I'd probably say 90% of the anxiety that I would feel or call anxiety is something that's happening to my body, or something that I'm feeling from my body. And something that I normally interpret more as like depression is something that's coming from my mind. And these things are intimately connected, like the body and the mind. So a lot of the times when you, like, somebody can say, oh, I'm depressed, but I don't have anxiety, or they can say something like that, but that just means that their mind is extremely overactive and their body is basically compensating by making the energy levels extremely low. So like they're basically using all of their source of energy on projecting their consciousness to this thought pattern of I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve anything, or I don't want to be here, or anything like that. Like all of those depressive thoughts are all just a cloud of conscious awareness that you're tapping into, and then it's a realm of consciousness basically. So that's like that would be like the hell on earth realm of consciousness, or like the sort of like the typical just bad state to be in, I guess, if you want to call it that. But like there's also a state that you can be in which you can shift yourself to more and more every day by just becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions. So like becoming aware of like these feelings that you feel inside of your body as well, because your body is very, very connected to your mind. So if you're able to calm your body, then you can calm your mind as well, and you'll be able to actually think straight for a little bit instead of being so caught up in all of these like jitter feelings. And that's because you're storing energy in your body, and you're not noticing that energy is being stored up in different places in your body. And then when that happens, it causes you to become restless, and you'll start to like shake, and you'll start to just do these things where you feel like you're never comfortable, like that's all because you're not aware or inside of your body. That's because your mind is actually projecting itself to a different portion of space-time, and you are literally moving yourself into a dimension that is like of a lower vibration than what your native dimension would be. So like your native state right here would be like the basic start where you would be starting to feel the blissfulness of life would be when your heart chakra activates. So like that's your baseline. And then you can move up into your third eye, and you can start to see that everything is one, and you can start to feel that everybody is literally a projection of yourself. And then you can move through your third eye into the crown, and you can move when the crown is open with all of the other energy bits. You can tap into this energy flow that moves through the body and through the mind and the spirit, and it's basically all it's all in like inside of itself. But at the same time, like it's just moving your attention to different places and holding that attention on whatever you're looking for. And that's like the basic of what they call like the law of attraction too, is like moving your attention to different places, like in order to attract the things that you want to attract. And basically, so okay, let me go to basic understanding of the whole thing. And also we're going to talk about shame and guilt that is associated with the thoughts that move through your mind and the emotions that are associated with those. So basically, how to let go of the shame that you feel for thinking the things that you think. You have to disidentify from that specific ego identity or self identity. So basically, you it's going to be really weird because your ego is so active that you're going to be feeling a constant feeling of like, it's not okay for me to tell myself these things because they're too good for you, because you like, it's literally like it's going to try to convince you of all of these different things. And this is the ego. Like, this is like your self-identity. Is the part of you that you want to shed in order to not feel depressed and not feel like you're anxious or anything like that. So basically, this ego identity that you're feeling, you're gonna have to shed that, and then realize that the world is something that you've created to see all aspects of yourself for. So you basically created this world around yourself, and the whole world is governed by the way that you think about the world. So your entire world is colored by your point of view, or your field of awareness. And it literally, every time that you shift your awareness, you shift yourself into a new reality. So like, basically all the time you're shifting yourself into these new realities, basically using your conscious awareness and like where you're putting your mind to. So you're basically trying to shift your awareness from these negative, destructive self-talk feelings, and then move them over into positive and loving feelings. And the way to do that is to slowly start to disidentify from these feelings and identify with these feelings. So you have to basically almost, even though it's going to sound like, you basically have to just continuously tell yourself that I don't have to identify with these feelings or emotions that I'm feeling right now. So if I'm feeling like I'm depressed in my mind, then I have to literally go within myself and see that shining force that's inside of everybody, and to understand that this thing that we call life is a shared experience between all beings. And this shared experience that we're having is, it's all connected. So like, this depression that you feel is you tapping into this collective thought bubble that is made up of these emotions and thoughts. And at the moment, it's starting to really ramp up on the amount of negative thought bubbles there are around, just because of how people feel. And we're trying to basically show how to disidentify with the stream of consciousness that moves you into self-pity, and how to re-identify yourself with a positive state of being. And yeah, so it's really easy to play the blame game. It's easy to push these feelings and say that they're coming from other people. But at the same time, the power lies with your reaction to things, not with what you do. It is what you do, but it's not... Never mind. I'll cut this part out. Okay.